Okay, so this is about like the 9th time I've tried to record a video. I wanted to do various topics and I changed my mind on all of them. And now that I actually have one and I'm trying to film, people are being loud in my house. So, sorry for background noise, basically. Today I decided to do what every artist on YouTube does at some point in their time here, and they go through their old art. My microphone's really close to my keyboard too, so you're probably gonna hear all sorts of clicks and clacks. Some of you, if you've been following me for a really long time, you'll know that I had an ongoing comic series, and it was an attempt. Basically, I wanted to go through it today and just read it with you guys, I guess. It is on my DeviantArt. The last page was published about a year ago, question mark? I actually don't know, but it was a while ago. So here's my DeviantArt gallery. We got all sorts of fun stuff. A whole slew of Steven Universe fan art. Yeah. Steven Universe isn't a bad show, but I just drew way too much fan art of it. I don't know. It's like I was drawing too many of my OCs and I felt like I should draw more fan art, so I started drawing Steven Universe fan art because I thought that was a good idea. So I believe it's the first... No, it's not the first thing, but some preface here. The story follows basically one of my oldest OCs. I created her when I was 11. I still have her. She's still there. I still have her whole story that the webcomic was based around. I just completely reworked it. This was my first drawing of her that I put on DeviantArt. I drew it in Adobe Flash. Yep. And then I colored it in Photoshop. Yeah, so here's even more backstory here, because I know you guys are all dying to know what was going on in my head when I was 12 years old. I didn't like the Photoshop version I was using, which was Adobe Photoshop 7.0, which came out the year I was born, so it was pretty freaking old. I don't even remember where I got it from, like my dad or something, and it didn't really have a line smoothing feature, so all my lines were really shaky. That was partially my fault, but also partially the tablet's fault. And so I was like, man, I really need something that has like smoother lines. So what did I think was a good idea? Adobe Flash. Because I saw people drawing in Adobe Flash, I guess, and I was like, hey, I like the lines like that. I would seriously sketch and draw in Adobe Flash and then import it into Photoshop to color it. I kid you not. So that's what happened here. Yeah, as we can see, a lovely leg that... What is going on? I'm pretty sure these were like default colors too. So there's that. But here's the actual comic. So it was called Water's Way. It's still called Water's Way, like the whole story idea I have, but it's very, very reworked now to make more sense and be better. But I was just, basically my thought process behind this was I was originally going to make this an animated series, but I didn't know how to animate, so then I realized that that probably wasn't a great idea, and then I just said, hey, what if I make it a comic series? I created a new DeviantArt. I'm not even going to talk about my old DeviantArt, that is a whole separate video. Here's the cover for chapter 1 of Water's Way, also lined in Adobe Flash and then colored in Photoshop. Let me read the... Okay. Ermagersh. This is the kind of person that I was. A comic series. This is what Layla came from, because I already showed you that picture of her earlier. That's what I was saying. In case you were wondering. No, I have no idea when I'm gonna post parts to this. They will come at random, so don't expect a schedule for them. Yeah, basically I was like, I'm really not gonna put myself on a schedule because I feel like I won't actually make the pages if I do that, but I didn't really end up making a lot of pages anyway, and I do them like 3 months apart. I probably should have done a schedule. It kind of makes me feel rushed, and then they tend to come out sloppier, but yeah. I mean, I guess, but I just never drew them anyway. Pictures drawn by me. Please do not copy or trace in any way. Programs used: Adobe Flash Professional and Adobe Photoshop. Ho ho. I was always really like into saying that in my description. I was always like, do not copy my work. Even though like nobody in their right mind would ever want to copy my work as a 12-year-old. So here's page 1. Here is Water's Way, page 1. Oh god. When was this published? July 12th, 2015. So it's coming up on its 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 4-year anniversary next month. Like in 2 weeks. Wow. It feels like ages ago, to be honest. So here we have, it's 3 panels. Here we got this person. She's like, that girl isn't right, Griffin. She spends too much time near the forest and shore. And he's like, she's just curious, Amelia. And then I'm going to talk to her in the morning. So this is kind of confusing to see, but Layla, like, nothing made any sense in this. I thought that everybody would automatically understand my story, and I didn't have to explain like anything, even though that's not how anything works. Basically, they're talking about Layla, right? These two, and she's hiding behind a wall listening to them, and that's their feet. Yeah. And then, okay, like, many months go by, I'm pretty sure. That was July 12th. This next page isn't until August. Okay, not as many months as I thought, but still like almost a month goes by before the next page. And so by then I had started using Paint Tool Sai. Yeah, and also my pen pressure wasn't working during the first part of this. So here, oh, look at that background. She's dipping her finger into some water, and then somebody goes, she's so weird. And then we get introduced to these 3, and they're terrible. So here's, this is the main one. She spends more time by the ocean than she does with people. Well, she is an orphan, even though she knows her. What was I doing? Like, I didn't know that you were supposed to read left to right, I guess? It looks like your mom is coming to tell her off, Ruby. And then that's Amelia from earlier, and she's walking towards Layla in whatever kind of perspective that is. And then the 3rd page, which again, these are all many months apart. This isn't until September. Again, like another month goes by. So I would try to get a page out a month. And you can literally see like the difference in my okay, look at this page and stuff versus this page. Like, it's so different. Like, my style was different every time I made another page. Layla, what did I tell you about going to the shore? I'm sorry, Mrs. Bear. It's just so calming. You're coming with— That's the way it's supposed to be read. I just did not make that apparent. And then she wants to stay here, and then she grabs her arm. And then Layla has her water powers activate. Whoa! I'm shocked. And then let's see when I publish this. Another month goes by, and I get this out. And so Layla's like, oh no, I splashed you with water. And then Amelia's like, alright, time to open exposition. And she takes her to the library, and she's like, the spirit war. By the way, this is all in like a fantasy world kind of thing, question mark. I'll get to like what it actually is, but yeah, so she's like, did Griffin tell you about the spirit war? And she's like, yeah, kind of, why? She's like, cause that's where this all started. Oh no. Yeah, and then another probably month goes by. Let's see how long I took for this one. October 24th. So a little less than a month, but still quite a while. Basically, this is all exposition. They live in a fantasy world, and they have there's humans, and then there's spirits. Spirits, they're elementals. They control either water, earth, wind, or fire, kind of like the benders from Avatar, except they're more like nymphs. But yeah, there's one for each element. The humans had a huge war with them. The spirits were assumed to have been wiped out, and now the humans rule, except Layla's actually a spirit. Oh no! And so Griffin, the dude from earlier, found her in a pile of rubble under a house or something, and that was the orphan. He took her to the orphanage. Whoa! Wait, when did this one come out? Oh, and this one came out like 3 days later, so I did 2 pages at once. I must have been really proud of that. So then I changed my art style again for like the 18th time. I completely changed how I did shading and stuff. This one came out another month apart. Basically she's like, yeah, you're a water spirit, Layla, and now you need to go to the forest to survive or else they'll kill you. And there's people there that can help you in the forest, so she's like, alright, go to the forest. And then I completely changed my art style again, but it's like 7 days later after the first page that I made this, so, or the last page, not the first page. Yeah, so I decided to do sketchy lines because I thought that was hip and cool. This shading is just overall very strange, and I just... Whoa, it's so huge. These are trees. Let me see, another month? Question mark? A drum roll, please. It's gonna be another month. And it almost is, December 20, so this I literally posted on Christmas, great. So she's like, whoa, the animals like me, the forest is okay, but people don't really like me, that's sad. Again, my art style developed a little bit more. I got better at drawing, actually, which is great. January? Yes, end of January I posted the next page. I changed my art style again, now everybody has really spiky fingers. So she's like, alright, let's test out my water powers. That's basically that entire page. Oh yes, and then the blue light. Everybody loves the blue light. So January 31st, so I actually got this like 2 weeks later. I was doing okay. Then she finds a blue light, and I'm not gonna go through all these pages. Basically, that's the end of chapter 1, and then I made a title card, and so basically she meets this tree person, not just a tree, no, she meets a tree person through the blue light. She has this bag, and I kind of forgot about the bag, and so I was like, hey, what if the blue light led her back to where she left her bag down, and then she meets the tree person? Like, I used that as a cop-out, and it worked. So, I was really proud of this lighting at the time. It was really funny. Oh god, what is that? Also, I was really proud of these eyes, too. Like, the way the eyes are shaded, I thought was, like, the best thing in the world. I changed my art style again to this page. I changed the lines. She meets the tree person. The tree person is like, I'll take you back to my village. And that's basically the rest of these pages. Now, the rest of these pages, I actually kept a semi-consistent art style. And they were all still, like, a solid month apart from each other. What happened? DeviantArt. Honey. And then the tree is like, hey, there may be more spirits, you may not be the only one. And she's like, whoa! And so then, like, basically, I learned how to pace things from here, which is good. So there's like 8 pages that is just her, Layla, and Willa talking. I kind of fixed my art style, though, a little bit, and it's at night now, the sun went down. This is the other tree. And then, I changed my art style again. It is now, July. It's been a year. It's been a year since, I started it. And I decided to stop shading it so hard because it was taking too long to make the pages. And she's like, here's a house you can stay in. And then so she's like, wow, this moss is really comfy. And I made the lines way too thick. And what is that face? And then she falls asleep. So that's the end of chapter 2. And then chapter 3, we get introduced to the villains, which I kind of maybe possibly made up on the spot because I needed conflict. So this is just an edgy thingy of one of the villains walking, and she's boob armor, which is fantastic. We're getting into it. We're getting into it. So basically, she meets this other guy. They're literally war generals. Like, they are generals in the army, and they are going after a little girl because they thought they heard rumors of a spirit. So she's like really like stern and strict, and he's like really laid back and easygoing, but he's also like kind of crazy. That's great. They go to the orphanage that Layla was from originally, and they like question people. Again, my art is like kind of improving here. It's still pretty bad. The anatomy is just overall terrible. I kind of was figuring out how to frame them a little bit better though. But anyway, so they interview the people, and then she's like, oh yeah, you know, she was a spirit. I let her go though. This one right here, Amelia. And then they're like, alright, I guess we'll go chase them then. And that's where that leads off. And then this is kind of more recent. It's November of 2017. Yeah. So that whole thing, that whole encounter between the villains and the people from the orphanage took about a year for me to make. Because I was only doing it like once a month. Anyway, this is a Layla dream where she's like dreaming there's a giant tree. And actually, that tree's not that bad. It's a little blurry. But like, I was learning how to draw a little bit better, you know, because this is like November 2017, so it's like almost 2018. And then the last page ever to happen, ever, is this one. So Layla was dreaming that, and then Willa wakes her up and is like, hey, you want some berries? And then she's like, yeah, triels eat sunlight. Whoa! And that's where I ended this. I didn't intentionally end this. I actually had a page that I was working on and never finished. It's still on my computer. And then I was like, I really don't like the story anymore because I wanted to completely change it and restart it. And I actually did that. I completely reworked everything, and now it's actually a pretty decent story from, at least I hope. That might just be me being egotistical talking, saying, ho, my story is so great, ho. Yeah, so then I was like, I should formally put it on ending hiatus, so I just said, I drew this picture of Layla in almost a year ago, and I said, hey, Water's Way is officially on an indefinite hiatus. And nobody cared. Nobody read my comic anyway, so it did not matter. And I've actually been pretty okay with that, you know, ending, because I still have them, I still have the story. Maybe if I start my own studio and make it into a movie one day, that'll be fun. Till then, I'm so sorry for the background noise, by the way. People are like walking around, closing doors, and this is the only time I can film, so I told them to be quiet. They didn't listen. Anyway, like, subscribe, do that stuff that people tell you to do at the end of videos, and see ya.